Hello, welcome. My name's Nick Masters. I'm 68 years old. Before I get into the ins and outs of why I'm putting this on, which is to encourage people over 60 to try instrumentation or singing. Mine is mainly singing, where you wouldn't normally have thought about it. I came out of the Air Force and I met a very nice man called Rob Evans who introduced me to drums, and he let me have a go on his drum kit, and it went from there. And for 25 years I had a great career as a pretty good rock drummer. Unfortunately, I went deaf because of the way things were. You used to have great big wedges on either side, so you could hear the rest of the band on stage, and so it didn't work so well. And in the end, I had to take the painful decision that I had to give it up, which was hard. But along at the same time, as things happen sometimes, I had a son-in-law who was a guitarist, and he said, I said, I've got hands like cucumbers, I can't play the guitar. He said, well, if B.B. King can, you can. And he was right. I plundered away at it for 3 or 4 years, getting bar chords right, and everything. You can see how sore my hands are now. I'll get onto that in a minute. But getting bar chords right before I could play, and in the end, I could play a very reasonable acoustic guitar, and electric weren't bad. I've never been good at lead electric, which you will hear on a couple of, I'm not saying all these tracks, and there are a lot, are perfect, but nevertheless. So the point I wanted to make is that you can do anything. I didn't start singing until I was 60. I didn't think I even had a good voice, to be honest. I think it was a bit sharp, a bit nasally, because I had a bit of a nose problem. You might see the end of my nose tip is gone, literally gone, because I was in the Air Force in the Eastern Med, and about 6 years ago I got cancer of the nose, and they cut it all out, and the the bit from the neck didn't take, so that's why it looks a bit dodgy, maybe, if you look at it carefully. So I have completed over the years 800 tracks of reasonably good quality material, which I have converted from WAV to MP3. So obviously they can come on here, and I'll do what I need to make them MP4 in a while. I can't figure that bit out yet. Which I'm saying, I'll put this one on now. It won't start straight away. But of these 800 tracks, I've 200 of them are by the wonderful British singer Matt Monro, who I found I had a kinship with. He was the same vocal band as me, even though I'm a bass baritone. I can go very low, and I can go, say, do some Johnny Cash. He would beat me on the high notes for sure. But for 9 times out of 10, I can cover the Matt Monro stuff. Now, I'm not saying I'm Matt Monro or anything like that, because Matt Monro had the most glorious voice, with the most gorgeous vibrato, and the length of notes would just make your hair stand on end. I've done 35 of the Beatles tracks. I've done Patsy Cline numbers. I have had no problem covering women's numbers, because it's very, very easy to go one octave below what they're doing, and it still sounds okay. It still sounds fine as a man. About 20 Elvis Presley numbers, you know, not without trying to make it sound like a mimic or silly. Even 6 or 7 Engelbert Humperdinck numbers, which I never for the life of me thought I would get the range of, but I did. So I was happy about that. I had to, certainly all the Beatles numbers, Paul McCartney sang so high that there was absolutely no chance of me getting up there with him. So for mostly nearly all the Beatles numbers, what I had to do is I had to learn to read music and compose, and to compose down. So I had to bring the numbers down. I had to go down semitones and tones and whatnot, until what I used to do was I used to find the highest note that I couldn't hit, and then go down to the one that I could hit reasonably well, work it out where it was, and then figure out how much I had to decompose. That's the right word. I'm of that age where I feel like I'm decomposing anyway, but anyway. Harmonies, I've done a cappellas, numbers on there. If you harmonise with yourself, you find things are a lot easier than what you think. They really are. And when you get to harmonising with other people, like, for instance, I did 7 or 8 numbers with the Everly Brothers, of which I took one voice off, which was Don, who was the lower voice, left Phil on, and put my own on, and it worked a treat. And others that I've harmonised myself with myself. Unfortunately, I had to stop playing the guitar because my hands are now so swollen with arthritis. So I have great problems. But that's my introduction to this page, if you like, that I'm going to put on. It's a bit of a project. I don't know whether it's going to be of any help to anybody. I hope it is, for sure. But when I've got them all done, and at the moment it's about 750, down from 800. There was about 50 tracks. I said, no, they're not good enough. There was something wrong with them, which I just wasn't prepared to go back and take all apart again. It's a lot of work. And doubles. There's a lot of doubles where it said, portrait 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can take out 3 or 4 there. It's likely to come down towards the 700 mark. So there's enough there for everybody. To be honest, I am considering listening to Michael Bublé recently. He seems to be in my baritone range. I haven't had a listen yet, but I will, and I'll let you know. And if I do, I'll add him on the end. But whoever you are who is watching, and if you're interested, then welcome. And I hope this gives you everything that you're looking for. Thanks very much.